Oh shit. I have to download all the fucking mods. Uh... Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Because I don't want to spend all this time downloading these freaking mods. I'm just gonna go back into Bear Den. And I'm just gonna take a vehicle and I'll show you how to do this. Alright, so the big thing is, you can lay out the IEDs. So, you can have like door rigged ones that are, roadside, things, like buried in piles of tires. Teaching people to look for things that are, oddly just out of place. Like, for instance, that chopper we took is still here. Um, huh? Nope. True. Okay, so we'll call them firecrackers just for the sake of it. Alright, so let's say I'm driving down the road, right? We're in a convoy and we're doing convoy speeds, which is usually about 50, 55 miles an hour max. Um, and let's say here on the right, let's say there's a pile of tires right here, right? Well, before we get to those, somebody's going to call it out, because that's usually not a normal thing to see, just a random pile of stuff. So they might say, "Hey, potential firecracker," and then you're gonna have people dismount and go up to check it out, and then they're gonna, oh, we're gonna stop back here, and driver stays in the vehicle, driver never exits their vehicle, and then they're gonna go up nice and easy as a team, posting security, watching for anybody that might be, looking to trigger said firecracker, and then let's say this bush would be the pile. Obviously, we wouldn't be stopped that close, but we're gonna come up, we're gonna check, make sure, okay, there's no fireworks hiding out here. Okay, convoy's clear to move up. At that point, the convoy would move up, everybody mounts back up, and you carry on your happy little way. While this is going on, all the Vics that have mounted artillery are going to be holding their sectors, whether they're looking to the right and up the hill, or to the left and up the hill, or to the right and down the hill, or to the rear, all that good stuff. And everybody that's not on a mounted position or a driver is going to exit and post security outward all the way around the convoy. So like this is great because you've got defilade right here. Okay, I'm gonna hold my sector while the two or three man team goes up to check for pyrotechnics. I'm sorry. No, so it varies. Sometimes they are um, man triggered. So you got a guy with like binos sitting up on the hill up there, and he's watching. And then like as soon as I roll, he might let the first vehicle go by. Second vehicle goes to that bush. Click, click, kaboom. Well, now the guy in the middle's stuck, and they've effectively stopped the rest of the convoy and isolated the first vehicle. Or, they may hit, let's say you have 7 vehicles, they may hit the third or fourth. So, you know, obviously teaching them, the attention to detail, looking for this kind of stuff, it's important. Because, like, right there, that would be a good place to put one, right? So, we're coming up into a town, so we've got Minerally right there. I would actually have people out on foot, and we actually used to do this. We would dismount going into a town, and you'd have at least one person, 20, 25 meters ahead of the lead vehicle. And that's their job, is to kind of look at things as they're walking by, because Triggerman isn't going to set it off for one guy on foot. They want to hit the whole vehicle, right? Or it might be daisy chained, where there's, 4, 5, 6, 10 of them in a line, and as soon as they hit it, it hits this one, boom, 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 all the way down the line, and tries to take out the whole convoy. They're not going to waste it on one guy on foot. So that is how you deal with IEDs potentially in a convoy situation. Now, if you're setting up a vehicle checkpoint or a VCP, you know these already. We have snap VCPs, which are, we're just going to set up for a little bit and block a road. So like I might put a truck right here, okay? And I might put it just like this to start a chicane, right? So, the zigzag you drive through coming into a base. So you've got one truck there, okay? And then you're going to put another one over here. And then you're going to do the same thing at the other end. So, like, if you don't have roadblock barricades, this is what you're going to do. You're going to block the road at both ends. And this is a snap VCP, right? We're setting up real quick. It's a snap. And then, as vehicles come up, you've got a gunner that's watching that way. We have security all around, right? So your guys are dismounted, and there's security. You're going to have people that are searching. You're going to have the vehicle pull up. They're going to pull inside your perimeter, okay? They're going to pull inside the perimeter. You're going to have the driver and any passengers get out of the vehicle. And then you're going to have them go around and open every door. Obviously, we can't open the hood and the trunk on these properly. So you're... Normally, we would have them pull inside, so they're inside the security perimeter, and everything's spread far enough apart, so if something goes, if a firework were to create a show, it's not going to hit everybody. But you have them open everything, because in theory, if they know it's going to go off, they're not going to want to open that stuff. Whereas if you go to open it, it goes off in your face, right? So now that everything's open, you have them step off to the side, you search them, while another team is searching the vehicle, and they're going to go along, they're going to look inside the hood, they're going to look inside the vehicle, under the seats, in the glove box, under the dash, in the trunk. They're going to go along with mirrors, they're going to look underneath the vehicle all the way around. If everything's good, you tell them, okay, go ahead and close your car up. They're going to go around, close all their doors. If they have multiple passengers, they're going to just, get back in their vehicle. They're going to be like, okay, cool, you're good to go. Thank you for your time. And then that's the end of it. And that is how you search a vehicle. Same if you find a vehicle just on the side of the road. Like, let's say, you come up and there's a vehicle just sitting on the side of the road like this as you drive by. Like, oh, it might be broken down. Well, you're going to have to search that vehicle. So you're going to do the same thing, but now you don't have a civilian to search it for you, right? So, uh, 50 to 100 meters apart. Obviously, for the chicane vehicles, you want them close enough to create an actual chicane. But yeah, yeah, four, or you can set up like an L shape, so you can park one like this, right? Well, correction, you could park one like this, okay, and then the other one further down like this, and then you can have another vehicle. You could even use two vehicles to like block the roadway, like effectively just like a gate, and then just have them pull the one forward as, like, okay, hey, it's clear, cool. Pull forward, let them through, back up. There's different ways you can set it up. Get creative with it. The rest of the vehicles you can kind of just park along the side of the road, and they can provide like outboard security, or even pull them further up off the road. But you can use them in different ways. You can use them as like a way to block prying eyes. So we have a bunch of vehicles parked on the side of the road in the, let's say, like our little inspection areas right here. I could take the extra vehicles and park them in a way so that it kind of blocks from prying eyes. So like while I'm searching someone, I'm not going to get shot. It's easier to demonstrate if I had Game Master, so I could just drop stuff down and show you a layout. But what? Yeah. But that's literally how you do a vehicle checkpoint. And obviously, if you have a suspicion of something like in the road, you're gonna do what we call herring boning. Okay. So everybody's not just gonna stop in the middle of the road. You're actually going to pull off the road just like this. Okay. You're gonna pull all the way off the road, and then the next guy is gonna be behind you, herringbone pointing out this way. And the next one, they're gonna stagger the whole way back, herringboning. So that way, you're providing outboard security. You're not in a straight line. There's less risk of getting hit by a daisy chain. All those fun things. So that's pretty much everything on the road that you'll need to know, at least starting out. And then obviously, like we talked about, finding piles of debris on the side of the road, rundown vehicles. If something looks like it's brand new and everything else is old, that's usually a sign that somebody did something. If you see a guy digging on the side of the road, that's a pretty big indicator that they're doing something they shouldn't be. That's why you send in dismounted patrol. I'm hearing about half of what you're saying. Technically, no, you can send just anybody. Like I used to run point. I was artillery fire direction control. Like you're trained what to look for. So you're looking for things like wires running to it, or if you notice a bag laying in the middle of this stuff and it looks just way out of place, or oh look, that's an artillery round. Oh, that's usually a pretty big indicator that that's not good. Yeah. All right. So that's the basics of vehicle IED fund. Now, obviously dealing with the building, the big things to look for, we don't have wands, so we can't look under the doors. So, we can act like we're wanding, but, obviously check the door frames. You're looking for anything that's sticking out, any crazy wires, anything like that. Come in, we're looking around. I'm sorry? Normally stuff inside a building is more of like a booby trap. So like in theory you would actually open the door and it goes off. Or there's a tripwire. Which, that's where DayZ kind of has the upper hand there because you can actually make tripwires. Yeah, so they'd have to look out for those. You could also place C4 block. And then, you could do simulated tripwire, but they don't know to look for that necessarily. And so they would have to look for like the C4 block around the door frame before they go in. And then they could say, "Oh, this is wired. We need EOD or, something." Shit. Damn it. I wasn't paying attention. I ran right into a light pole. Fuck. Alright, what'd you say? Dude, you're cutting out so bad. I can barely hear you. What? I don't think the car exploded, but it just baffles me that I wasn't even going that fast and I hit a pole and it killed me. It didn't just knock me out, it killed me. I just gotta run all the way back there. Yeah, you call EOD. EOD has to come out and disarm it and remove it. No, you still gotta call it in. I mean, if you're clearing building to building, you're gonna have to call it in. I mean, if you're on a time-sensitive mission, for instance, yeah, you might leave like one or two guys to secure it, or you might push past it, depending on the mission, but you're still gonna have to call it in, and once everything's complete, you're still gonna have to wait for EOD to come out and clear it. You can't just leave them. you talking about the like herringboning? Like like say a vehicle gets hit, right? We see that an IED happened. We don't just stop in the middle of the road. You're gonna herringbone, right? So you're gonna pull off, like you know how you see angled parking in parking lots? That's called herringbone parking. Think of it like that. You're gonna herringbone, all right? So they're gonna herringbone and stagger. So like front Vic pulls off to the right, left Vic's gonna stop 50 meters short, pull off to the left. Next one, 50 meters back, pull off to the right. Right? You're gonna give yourself distance between vehicles. Oh, I'm being shot at. What? I just got domed by a freaking AI right there. Are you kidding me with this? Bro, no way. I just want to get to my stuff before my body despawns. I know, but it takes forever to run over there. Because I gotta run past the trader, down the road, up around the corner, and now I gotta deal with the AI over there. It's creating security to the sides, and then obviously front and rear Vic are gonna provide front and rear security. Everyone's gonna dismount, provide as much security and as much firepower in every direction as possible. And then, you know, once we've identified that there's no more explosions about to happen, right? So you're gonna search the immediate area. If you don't find the trigger man, you don't find anybody waiting to ambush you, you don't find any more explosives on the road, you push up, create security around the destroyed vehicle, remove the casualties, remove any equipment, and then, you know, obviously a wrecker will come out to remove the destroyed vehicle, but then you can carry on with your mission. Obviously here in game, you would just carry on with the mission from there. GM can just delete the vehicle and say wrecker took it. Alright. Later.